So next up we have Joe Darrer. Joe is lead user experience designer at Radii and has recently completed the Interaction Design Masters in NCAD. So yeah, I have much appreciation for that kind of work that he's done. His talk is called Establishing Design Principles for Conversational UX. So welcome, Joe.
Thanks, Laura. All right, let's start this conversation, I guess. Okay, hi, I'm here to talk about chatbots and conversational UX. I brought along this evening my JoeBot, who's hopefully going to keep me on track. And also, I'm a chronic hand waver, so I'm hoping to somewhat contain that. So what I have here is what I call the minority report of graphs. It appears in every chatbot presentation, and essentially what it is telling us is that somewhat in 2015 messaging apps surpassed social media apps, so it's a big deal. People are spending time there. What are chatbots? Chatbots are programs that mimic conversation with people using some form of AI. Not very clever sometimes. Yeah. Great. So chatbots are like a green field. You have big statements like this: chat is the new browser, bots are the new websites, which has a lot of people excited. Why? Because there's a ton of money to be made here and people are running at it. So this evening what I want to kind of talk about are the tools that I used when I was designing my chatbot product for my major project, kind of talking about research and some UI states and a few design principles hopefully you can take away in further work. Okay, so one of the first things I did was what I call self-ethnographic. So I built a chatbot that would talk to me every evening and ask me how my study was going. Usually I was partying or it was the weekend, but what I learned about was appropriateness when it was kind of context and relevance. I also discovered a lot of mind mapping tools. Conversations are ridiculously difficult. That's why I've got this is fine guy. I was like panicking. All right, how do you break down a conversation and how do you actually make it appropriate? All this taught me was kind of helping me to build really simple experience prototypes. Get things out to your users, test it, understand how they actually use chatbots or what even their awareness of chatbots are, and to be honest, outside of a small community, it's very little. This is a terrifying slide. This is Hal and Mark Zuckerberg together. And why is this terrifying? Well, from a design point of view, it's kind of interesting because we need to understand what artificial intelligence is going to play, and it's quite an important aspect. Another aspect that I learned was we're not just designing for browsers or mobile apps. There's tons of chat apps out there, and it goes from Kik, which all the cool kids are using, to Viber, which unfortunately are all the old folks. Now, what we have learned, or what I learned, was we're all kind of comfortable in this space of designing for the web or mobile apps. We know what ideal states are, processing states, or those kind of aspects. The same applies for chatbots. This is the initiation state that I call when you first talk to a chatbot, it usually like vomits out a whole bunch of instructions, and then as a user you have to grapple with this kind of cognitive load of like, right, what do I do to talk to the chatbot? How can we make that better? This is, I call the processing state. We're all in that familiar space where we've chatted to someone and we're like desperately waiting for them to text us back. Chatbots do the same thing. It's a small bit deceiving because they're robots and they're not thinking. So how can you use that? Failure states happens a lot in chatbots, unfortunately. Treat your users with some respect and don't ask them to meow back at you. Not appropriate. It was the kind of turning point for me when I was looking at chatbots, and there was this interesting kind of design by Cortana from Microsoft where they showed a chatbot, but they introduced another chatbot into a conversation. So it became really interesting. What the hell is going on? So what can we learn? I've left my chatbot away, but I'm going to leave you with 4 principles. Use recall. Like a good barista, kind of rely on historical data. Remember somebody's name, so next time they engage with your chatbot, there's kind of familiarity. Use structured input, like put strong guardrails around your chatbot. Keep it really focused. If anyone can answer that question, why black men are such crybabies, talk to me afterwards. This one I like to talk is about attention is limited. So when you're using a chatbot or designing a chat, remember your users are on the move or they're moving around. I came into the office one day and I was told I was offline for a moment, now I'm back. Thanks, chatbot, totally irrelevant. Lastly, the last principle I will leave you with is progressively disclose. So as your users become more comfortable with your chatbot and understand the different aspects, give them more. Don't try and expect them to know everything right away and kind of reveal other aspects. Okay, thank you very much. Let's talk to you in 2 minutes.